Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
We'd do practically anything for our children, wouldn't we? My dad took me to piano lessons and sat out in the car every week for 11 years, paying for lessons I didn't even want. And my mom prodded me to practice every day for 11 years, all because they knew it was good for me. My mom took me to the YMCA every day in the summer and sat out in the hot sun for hours just because she knew I loved to swim. I did the same thing with my kids, patiently waiting through gymnastics and band, making critical decisions for them, hoping I'd chosen the best out of all the good things out there, but keeping extra activities to a minimum so they'd have free time to create and be kids. But when my son fell out of a tree and broke both wrists, our world kind of stopped. We did everything we could to fix him, make him comfortable, and help him function when he couldn't use his arms for several weeks. So those of us who have had children can sympathize with the nobleman of John 4:46, whose son was at the point of death. He just heard Jesus was in the region, and he traveled about 20 miles to Cana to beg him to heal the boy. Now this guy was the representative of King Herod in the region. He could have sent out Roman soldiers to try to forcibly bring Jesus to Capernaum, or he could have sent servants. But he came himself. He saw Jesus as the only hope for his son, and he was desperate. He knew Jesus had healed people before. Matthew recorded Jesus restoring Jairus' daughter to life, as well as the centurion's servant in Capernaum. Would Jesus come and heal his son? He didn't know, but he had to try. The Bible record says the nobleman implored Jesus to come heal his son. He begged. This was a Roman official begging a Galilean carpenter. Yes, he was desperate. Look at Jesus' answer. Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will by no means believe. This nobleman hadn't believed before, but now that he wanted a miracle, he came to Jesus. Sounds familiar. Many of us only pray when we're in trouble, don't we? When we need something. But our faith has to have a starting place. Jesus' words prompted the nobleman to declare his faith. "Sir, come down before my child dies." In other words, you're his only hope. Jesus didn't do what the man asked, but what he did forced the man to show his faith even more. Jesus said, "Go your way, your son lives." The nobleman had a few choices here. He could continue begging Jesus to come. He could order him to come. He could turn away in anger, or he could believe and go home. This man chose the latter. And when he met his servants on the way home the next day, his faith became solidified. Especially when he found out that his son's fever left at the exact time he'd spoken with Jesus. Jesus' word was as good as his presence. Now the nobleman didn't keep this to himself. His whole household had known that he had gone to Jesus for help, and when he told the story, all of them believed. His wife, servants, and probably some extended family who lived with him. Maybe even the Roman soldiers under his command. Jesus saw that he needed a miracle to solidify his faith. Now he and his family were responsible for what they'd experienced, and they believed. When we experience God working in our lives, whether through a direct answer to prayer or his response to an unspoken need, we become responsible to respond in belief and deepening faith. And it should be something that we can look back on as a foundation for our faith, something God did, set in concrete. And if he could do that, we know he's able to take care of whatever other situation comes up. But if we ignore that answer to prayer and go on with our lives unchanged, if we see our changed circumstances just as a coincidence or things that just worked out well, then we're rejecting the light that he's given us, and our darkness deepens. What has God done for you that you may have overlooked? Maybe it seemed like a tragedy at the time, but it turned out to be something good for you. But you never thought about it being the hand of God. Now's a good time to go back and praise Him for it and thank Him for working in your life.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.